Hello and welcome, LinkedIn India. A big, huge warm welcome to everybody on this Monday to this super special LinkedIn Live broadcast. My name is Ankit Vengurlekar. I'm the managing editor here at LinkedIn News India, and I'm super, super stoked, as you can see. I haven't stopped smiling this Monday morning because we just published our first ever LinkedIn Top Voices 2021 next gen list. Now, if you're a fan of LinkedIn News and you've been following the work that we've been doing, LinkedIn Top Voices is a flagship property. It is a list of the top creators and members on LinkedIn India that you should be following. And this is the first time and the first year that we've come up with a next gen list. I keep wondering what took us this long. The list that you are looking at on the display on the screen here is a list of 20 absolutely outstanding individuals across the length and breadth of this amazing country and across multiple sectors. You know, of course, there's software engineers, of course, there's coders and people from IT and SaaS, but there are also people from incredible creative professions and so many amazing other professions as well. So today's LinkedIn Live is where we're going to say hello and chat with two incredible people from the LinkedIn Top Voices Next Gen list. Say hello to Ragini Das, co-founder of leap.club, and Ranveer Allahbadia, founder of BeerBiceps. I am so stoked to have these two individuals here. I would have loved it to have 20 people live and talking to all of them, but then it would turn into a cacophony of primetime news that we are all not a big fan of. So hi Ragini and hi Ranveer, how are you guys doing this Monday?
Very well. Extremely infectious energy, Ankit, I have to say. I think great Monday morning for sure.
And I've also got to compliment Ankit's frames. I think this whole session is just going to be about Ragini and me tripping on Ankit. So we're doing great.
Wow, I love this mutual admiration club that we've got going. But there's so much that I want to ask you. And this is a LinkedIn Live, which means all you members who are watching us live, please shoot your questions for Ragini, for Ranveer. I'm sure if you've been on LinkedIn for a while, you follow these incredible people and you've been following their journey as well. So I want to actually dive straight in, and I would love to know, Ragini, from you first, and then Ranveer from you, your individual journey of entrepreneurship. One big thing that we've seen as a theme across the Top Voices Next Gen list is how the number of people who are self-starters in the Top Voices list is incredibly high. So talk to us, Ragini, about your journey of self-starting and where you are today with that.
Sure. So actually, let me start with a little bit of a background. I grew up as an army kid, studied and grew up basically everywhere from Srinagar to Chennai, as you can only imagine. And my first job was very, very unconventional. It was in 2012. It was with a company called Trident, which is a manufacturing company in Ludhiana. Within a year, I figured it wasn't my calling. So while I was dealing with all the Ralph Laurens and the JC Penney's and learning quite a bit also, if you truly ask me, I don't think I was enjoying what I was doing, right? And then during my college days, I used to also intern with this bank called Standard Chartered. And there, the person who I worked with, his brother used to work with this really new company, which was collecting menus. They had a great culture. They had beanbags in their office, and as cliched as it sounds, it was food related, right? And that's how Zomato happened for me in 2013. In my 6 years there, I worked in various sales and growth roles across various geographies, various verticals. Started with Hyderabad, moved to Bangalore for 3 years, moved to Delhi end of 2016. And in my last stint there, I actually built something called Zomato Gold, which is a subscription program. In fact, one of the biggest ones in the world. Scaled that to about 10 countries, saw members grow from 0 to 2 million globally, right? And I think what really worked for me there was Gold was a startup within a startup, right? And it was also how I met Anand, who was my then boss and now co-founder at Leap. And he used to lead Gold for us globally. And 2019 is when I decided to take the plunge and quit to Leap full time. And Leap actually for me started with a very, very simple problem statement, Ankit. It was how professional networking was extremely broken. And I think while this statement is very age, it's gender, it's industry agnostic, it's slightly more true to women than to men, right? So even when we started building Leap, we realized that this is the TG that we're going after. And lots of companies, I think, pick like a demographic or an age group, etc. I think we just picked a gender, right? So we build for women. And everything that we do at Leap today, it's bases the feedback that we got from these women in terms of what they wanted, right? So whether that's coaching, that's a stronger network you can rely on, access to industry leaders, access to upskilling tools, all of that we do was built basis that. And of course, this was also bang in the middle of COVID because I decided to start up, and our launch was, I think, in April 2020. And like we had to go back, pivot, reimagine the entire model. But today we've, of course, evolved. Hopefully, we do a better job at doing whatever we do today. But primarily, what I do is build a private professional network for women leaders. And members join us for two major reasons. One is to create a rock solid network, which we make happen through stuff like super connections between members, or a clubhouse where you can create a small group within the larger network. And also, second, to focus on their L&D, right? So on the L&D bit, we do one-on-one wellness coaching, we do executive coaching, we do master classes with industry leaders. We also have cohort-based courses, which we call peer learning groups. So yeah, that's what I do. And I think the good thing for me is that everything is basis feedback that we get, not just from the 1,000 members that we have, but also the hundreds and thousands of women we speak to on a daily basis.
That is absolutely fantastic. Congratulations on Leap and all the milestones you've achieved, especially considering you launched right at the start of the lockdowns here in India. Hats off. What an incredible journey. And I keep seeing every time you post something on LinkedIn, the amount of overwhelming feedback and engagement there are to your posts shows the amount of interest and adulation people have for the work you're doing. So hats off to you, Ragini. Absolutely well-deserved place in the top voices list. Okay, a couple of people were writing, where's Ranveer? Where's Ranveer? I think we want to show Ranveer's face here. And this big, huge...
I have full FOMO because he's got all the fans here.
Yeah, look at that big, huge, shiny disco balls mic that he's got going. I love that. Also a full professional setup. Okay, so Ranveer, over to you. Of course, Ranveer Allahbadia is a man of many, many, many talents. And, that's exactly what we've written when you read about him on Top Voices Next Gen list. He's somebody who you cannot escape anywhere. Any social media platform, Ranveer is there with his super motivational, super inspiring personal content, and of course, the people that he interviews. So over to you, Ranveer Allahbadia, the founder of BeerBiceps Media and so many other things. Talk to us about your journey, Ranveer.
Okay, firstly, thank you. That's very sweet of everyone. Love the energy on this session. I'll quickly take everyone over the journey. Now, basically, YouTube, social media was never the plan. I always wanted to get into startups right after engineering college. That's what engineers do usually. So it's either your MBA, your MS, a job, or the fourth thing is a startup. And I tried launching an Uber for trainers. When I tried kind of coming out with our MVP, someone said that, you need to market this really well. So why not try social media? That's what got me to the world of social media. So I thought, okay, let me grow it to 2,000 subscribers and then we'll see. But the moment it hit 2,000 subscribers, I figured that, okay, this whole social media and YouTube game is extremely addictive. And it's also much easier to scale. Also, the more I thought about the first startup, I realized that, okay, this YouTube thing is just, it's an easier startup game to play. So keep growing it. Grew it to about 100K. Figured that, wait, I need a business manager as well. Went to my engineering college. One of my most ambitious and intelligent juniors, Viraj Sheth, was still in college. I told him, listen, I need a manager. Come help me. He did a great job. All my YouTube buddies saw that we did a great job together. So they said, okay, manage us as well. Therefore, we created a talent management firm called Monk Entertainment. Today, Monk Entertainment helps with digital marketing, brand consulting, influencer marketing, anything you can think of in the digital realm. Monkey is doing that. The beautiful thing for me is that I'm not handling anything at Monkey anymore. I kind of helped establish the core unit and I've handed it over. In terms of beer biceps, I kept doing that, went into regional, did a lot of Hindi content, also switched from doing pure fitness, which we started with initially, into doing fashion, grooming, communication skills, personality development. And then I figured that you can just teach India anything, because Indians don't have Indian voices teaching them life skills. So we just got into the domain of self-help. And once we maxed out on that, once we created all the possible videos about communication and confidence and even like clothing and all that, the next obvious step was deeper, richer content. And I felt like India was ready for podcasts at that point. So I started out doing podcasts kind of as a coping mechanism, because balancing 2 YouTube channels plus a startup was getting difficult. So I wanted to shut down one of the channels. My team made me sit down and said that, what's the easiest way you can make content? So I said, all these amazing conversations I'm having, why not just record it? So that's how the podcast started. And by the 12th episode, we had like Priyanka Chopra. By the 14th episode, we had like Saif Ali Khan and Baman Irani. By say the 25th episode, we had someone like Gaur Gopal Das. The lockdown hit us. I thought we're like gonna crash with the podcast because no one wanted to record in person anymore. But that kind of opened up the doors to all the international guests. So we ended up getting people like Jai Shetty on it. We're getting Nas Daily on it. All these top content creators you see from abroad, they sign and come on the show. And the eventual goal is obviously to get some of my biggest idols, Drake, LeBron James, possibly Virat Kohli at some point. So that's going well. The YouTube game is going well. And on the startup front, because there's no monkey in my life anymore, I have to think of what I want to do next. And I feel like it's the right time for me to get back into tech, which is where the whole journey started. So the next couple of startups are being worked on. They're both in the tech space, both are exciting, but I don't want to talk too much about it because I just want to allow the work to speak. So that's what's happening.
Wow, absolutely. That is absolutely incredible. My God, Ranveer, you managed to truncate all of everything that's going on in your life pretty well. I guess those are things that come very easily for a YouTuber and a content creator. That way, my job is slightly easier today as an interviewer because I have such talented guests. I want to quickly go to each one of you and talk to you about young talent out of India. You know, a lot of students are watching this LinkedIn Live, particularly right now. And to all the students and to all the young professionals who are watching us, please shoot your questions away in the comments. And also the QR codes that you keep seeing on the screen are literally follow links for Ranveer and for Ragini's profile. So scan the QR code, it'll directly take you to their profile as well. So Ragini, from you quickly, let's first hear, you're building a startup. You're clearly hiring a lot of new talent, young talent. What is the one thing that took you by surprise, pleasantly surprised you about the young talent that you are hiring? And what is the one thing that you wished the talent applying to you or working with you focused on more to improve it better? And then Ranveer can take the same question.
No, so I'm 100% big on young talent. I remember, I think in my first job, I was 21, right? And that in some sense set the tone for everything that I was going to do. So I think one thing that everyone needs to understand is work extremely hard, but don't forget to fall in love with the process. You know, your careers last longer than your college years do. And it's going to be a very, very long road. So learn to kind of enjoy the ride while you're at it. And I think one thing that I hope I also did more of, or I highly recommend the people who are graduating now to do, is really focus on upskilling. You know, remember, you're the total of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So invest in relationships, invest in your network, read more, read as much as possible. The more you learn, the more you earn, I suppose.
That is such incredible and actionable feedback. We will circle back on that, Ragini. Ranveer, over to you.
Yeah, so I mean, the big reason I chose to create content like this was because I didn't have content like this when I was younger. So I just wanted to make information accessible. And this was back in 2015. And I feel like by 2021, we're living in a very different India, where I feel like maybe if Ankit and me are separated by, say, 5 to 10 years in terms of age, we're still very similar. We're the same generation. And then someone 3 years younger than me is a different generation. They think completely differently because they've just had access to that much information. They also got social media very early in their life. Like I got it when I was 13. That's when I really got active on social media. They probably got it when they were 10, maybe younger. So that's created a very different kind of mindset. So they're extremely full of information. They're also prone to more mental health issues, I feel. That's after speaking with them continuously about these topics. That's my conclusion. But we primarily recruit from the interiors of India. We're based in Bombay, so housing becomes a situation. So we figured out a jugaad to basically turn our office into a bit of a staying quarters as well, especially during the lockdown. I primarily feel that a big chunk of India's workforce is going to come from like tier 3, tier 4, and all those places. One area that they can improve in is communication skills. I feel that as urban Indians, we're all right with our communication, whether that's Hindi or English. We're able to articulate our thoughts really well. And that's something that the rest of India needs to pick up from urban centers. That's something I've noticed extremely often in like our industry, media, content. We bring kids from interiors of India. They've got crazy brains, extremely hardworking, driven, motivated. They have a learning culture in their heads, but they're just not confident. They don't have the courage to kind of express their thoughts. And we have to really push them and say, "You say what you want to say, because we want to hear what you want to say." So I'd
That's
probably
a
say
great
that.
point.
Yeah, that just like polish up your communication skills.
And I want to actually break it down into, again, actionable intel for the audiences. You said that, the bulk of the workforce in the future is going to come from non-urban or non-metro areas, right? It could still be urban, but non-metro areas. So how is it that non-metro, workforce can build their confidence? Do you have any actionable tips for that? Because the number one question is, how do I go from nobody who's not confident to speak in front of the camera or even in front of the interviewer to actually landing my dream job? I want to get there, but how do I take that first big critical step?
So again, I'm just gonna reference my own life. Again, I'm a self-obsessed YouTuber, so that's gonna happen a lot in the course of this chat. But my thinking language is English. That's how I've been brought up. My family spoke to me in English. So for me to do Hindi content was a huge leap in terms of communication, and I had to work on it. I watched a lot of Hindi shows. I watched the old B.R. Chopra Mahabharat repeatedly just to polish up my the ends of my sentences in Hindi, all the little bits of grammar that are different in that language. And the same rule applies to someone whose thinking language is Hindi. The moment they start learning English, not only and learning how to speak English, not only does it polish up the English, it does two things. One, it opens you up to international markets, and you're able to consume a lot more content from the West, which honestly is a couple of years ahead of India right now. And what happens in that whole process, when you're learning a second language intensely, your overall communication skills get better, your confidence gets better. So I feel like challenge yourself to go that extra step. Do that.
That's fantastic. So challenge yourself, learn new communication skills, watch a lot more content. Ragini, I want to pose this question to you that one of our members has written here. Rohit Roy Chaudhary is saying there's too much distraction nowadays, especially for students and young professionals. There's serious FOMO. Oh my God, there's Clubhouse. What's happening over there? Oh my God, there's a brand new social media app. Oh my God, there's a brand new meme. Or yahan pauri ho rahi hai. What's going on? There's too many pulls from every direction. So how does one stay focused and know what he or she really wants to do and how to keep at it?
Yeah, so I think just adding to Ranveer's earlier point, right? I think 100% agree with him. But I think another thing that people don't do often and should maybe start doing is asking for help. I think I wish I did more of that when I was younger. I think today I'm a lot more different. I will write 40 cold emails every week, right? So I think you'd be surprised how much people are willing to help. So just very, very shamelessly reach out for help. Just on what Rohit asked, I think, yes, there's a lot going on. I think whether it's a potty or it's a pori or sorry, or if it's a clubhouse or, I think it's a very FOMO driven generation. And I would assume all of us are in that generation as well. But really figure out what's important for you and set out time for that, right? Now, when I say set out time for that, I'm someone who puts literally everything on my calendar. So even if I have to kind of go for a run, which I am trying to kind of do now this year because I didn't prioritize that last year, it's on my calendar. At 6 p.m., I have to go for a run. It's my no Zoom time, as I call it. right? That's when I do my podcast. That's when I do my thinking. That's when I do everything that I will otherwise not take out time for, right? And it's extremely easy, to be honest, Ankit, to give into peer pressure and go like thinking about, oh, so and so is doing that, so and so is doing this, but literally no one cares, right? I think focus on what's important for you and keep making that happen.
That's amazing. Focus on what's important to you and calendarize everything. If the pandemic year of 2020 has taught us anything, it is that the good old calendar or a task management app or a to-do list is the greatest way to completely conquer your day. Okay, there's a question here for you, Ranveer, specifically. Thank you for that, Ragini. Harshit is asking, can you suggest some practical ways to deal with stress when you work hard at something and you're still not able to get the results? This is a big one, Ranveer, because as youth, you are chasing certain goals, right? As much as our scriptures have said, karam karo, phal ki apeksha mat karo, but you are constantly seeing everybody post their wins on social media or within the social circle. So you also want bragging rights for something. So how to deal with a situation when you don't really get what you want?
Okay. So firstly, again, I need to highlight something that most of us already know, that social media is just your highlight reel, and you don't see everyone's entire life on social media. It's a very cliched piece of advice, but it's something that you need to constantly echo again and again. The actionable advice is something that helps me a lot. Even I have extremely low days, even now. And the way I deal with it is that I watch great movies. It sounds like very simple advice, but fantastic movies, when you give your entire attention to it, really kind of tune you into another world. Things like Rocky, Forrest Gump, just all the motivational movies you can think of, Invictus, sports movies. Watch the Netflix show The Last Dance about Michael Jordan's life. The content pieces you watch become a massive part of your mindset. I'm not saying that because I'm a content creator. I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking after asking all these media kids in my office. Everyone goes to that same basis of, okay, we're going to turn to content for our inspiration. And obviously, podcasts are attached to that. YouTube is attached to that. And in terms of pure stress relievers, exercise can really keep you sane in the long term. Some form of exercise. If you can combine some form of stretching with that, there's actually scientific proof that shows a link between stretching and the state of your mind, because it changes your hormonal profile a little bit. So, and it's also something that's been helping me a lot lately. It's something I discovered through the world of podcasts, exercise, stretching, and great content pieces.
That's incredible. I don't know how ready all of you are, but I'm happy to do some yogasanas if both of you, if your frame allows it. But thank you for that tip, Ranveer. That really helps. Content is really how young minds get influenced or shaped. And for that reason alone, you and your content has resonated with millions, Ranveer. 7 million plus is your universe of BeerBiceps across social media platforms. It's outstanding that you are walking the talk, quite literally. Okay, Ragini, you mentioned about upskilling much earlier. What youth needs to really focus on when it comes to upgrading their skill set and being relevant and important and unput-downable in today's workforce. For you personally, as much as you have achieved today, for you personally, how do you make time for learning? How do you identify what are the new skills that you need to acquire to further your personal professional journey and milestones?
So I think, Ankit, thankfully for me, I have the company of 1,000 and growing women at Leap every day, right? So there's honestly so much to learn from everyone, whether it's someone who is killing it within 4 years of, working, whether it's someone who comes with 25 years of experience and she, for example, leads mergers and acquisition in an MNC, to someone in public policy, to a journalist who has a completely different life from what I do maybe, right? So really investing in conversations, whether it's with these women, whether it's with industry leaders, who I'm assuming Ranveer also speaks to all the time, right? I think that is my daily coffee. I read whenever I get a chance. I have a coach now who helps me understand my blind spots and chase my goals better. So really making time for that is very, very important. And, I think what entrepreneurship in the last 1 year has also taught me, yes, there's a lot to do. So you're always chasing goals, you're always chasing to-do lists. But if you don't take that break, or you don't try to zoom out and look at the macro picture, you're going to burn out, right? And I think you can read about it all you want, but you only truly understand it when it happens to you. So I think
Absolutely.
learn this the hard way, but that's what I do today.
That's a great cue for my next question, which I'm going to dive straight into. How do you prevent burnout, or what do you do for a work life balance, especially for somebody who's birthing their own product, their company, their startup? It's like your own baby and it consumes you 24/7. How do you take time off it mentally, physically, emotionally?
So I think, again, Ranveer is an expert here. So I would love to get some tips. But it's something I'm really trying to work on this year, Ankit. Last year for me, like I said, was a lot of long hours. It was lots of coffee. It was work, work, work. Because what the hell, what do you do in 2020? But this year, what I'm doing differently is I'm actually taking out time to like for a stretch or for a run or yoga or anything that makes me happy. It doesn't have to be the gym, because the gym, for example, does not make me happy. So why should I go? Right? So taking time out for stuff that you like I wake up at 6 a.m., I'm watering my plants because that makes me happy. Or listening to music makes me happy, right? So taking out time for things that you like doing and literally putting them in your calendar if you're a workaholic, I think is something that's a quick tip. I do wish I could spend more time with friends and family though. So that's something I'm still working on. But really spending time with people you love, doing things that make you happy is, and calendarizing it is something that I think everyone needs to do.
So glad to know there's another green thumb here, another plant lover. I thought I was the only strange person. I literally put it up on stories yesterday saying, is there something wrong with me? I was looking forward to come home to Bangalore. I was out for a month and I was really looking forward to just coming and saying hello to my plants and checking on my bougainvillea, seeing how it's doing. So, thank you. Good to know I'm in good company. Ranveer, over to you. You are perpetually working 24/7. I have no idea what your sleep schedule is. I have no idea if beer biceps means you are indulging in a lot of beer or bicep pumping in your downtime. But how are you managing your work-life balance and your fitness routine amidst everything that you're doing?
Okay, so a couple of things. In my experience, green thumbs are the best people. So again, I'm happy to be here with you guys. And secondly, okay, answering the question, I learned this from the US Marines force. Like this is the rule they follow. They don't like once you've graduated from the Marines, they tell you that for your own life schedule, for all your disciplines, you figure out your schedule. You don't have to get up at 4 a.m. and work out and go for your run. You figure what works for your body and your mind the best. And time management is much more about managing your own energy and your own consciousness than it is about managing time. And this is something that I've tested out in my own life, and I've come to the conclusion that, yeah, that's actually the way it is, because everyone's different. So you can't have a set of rules for everyone. You have to notice, okay, what's the part of the day where I'm the most creative? What's the part of the day that I'm in my highest energy zone? What's the part of the day where I'm feeling physically the strongest to go and work out, or physically, the with the most stamina to go and run? So you have to really kind of scan your life and do those things. That's one aspect of my answer. The second is something I follow a lot, which is meditation. I'm a huge meditator. Tried meditating for an hour every day. Been meditating for 5 years, and I genuinely have seen the difference it's created in my head. There's a reason apps like Headspace, Calm, and all are taking off that much, because it's a real revolution that's going to take over especially the professional world. You hear so many podcasters, CEOs speak about meditation, and I've felt the power of it for my professional life. And the third thing is that, I mean, in terms of how I'm able to do what I do, like I really believe in team building. I don't have a great schedule myself. I'm someone who sleeps at 5 a.m. because I figured that time period between 1 a.m. to 5 is where I learn the most. I'm able to absorb a lot of information. And that's very crucial for my job. I'm a content creator. I'm a writer in my heart. The only way I'm able to write is if I'm reading a crazy amount of stuff. And that happens at night. And that's a system I figured over time. Similarly, if someone scans my life, they'd say that I live an unhealthy life because I work out, I lift weights at 11 o'clock at night. But I sleep late, I wake up late. The first 2 hours of my day, I do nothing. And then from about, say, this time, 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. till maybe 10 p.m. onwards, I'm on like this high power journey. And that's where all the work gets done through task lists. But this is a system I've figured over time with the help of a team that kind of takes away tasks. I don't use email myself, which sounds crazy because we're in 2021. But again, the nature of my job is such that I have to create minimum human interactions. It just helps me stay more creative. It helps me write a lot. Again, because we're content creators and we're putting we're putting content on every platform, there is a lot of writing pressure. And the system I've developed is talk to minimum people. That also takes away from your energy. So delegate as much as you can. I don't know if I answered the question, but that's pretty much my system. And these are the processes that have helped me.
You very much answered your question and very unique, also mind-boggling. I could never stay up till 5 a.m. I'll be a zombie walking. I'll be honest about that. I need my 8 hours of sleep beginning at 10:30, 11 p.m. But the thing I like about your answer is it's very honest, it's authentic, and it is customized to yourself. So you identify your system and your body clock, etc., and make a system accordingly. Okay, quick questions, almost like a rapid fire. What is the one piece of advice, Ranveer, that you would give your 15, 18-year-old self?
That don't let the world tell you that you won't be able to do something. Like, you decide your own ceilings.
Ragini?
I can write a book on this. One, it's not personal. Two, ask for help more often. Three, don't be in such a hurry.
Wow, don't be in such a hurry. That's fantastic. Okay, second rapid fire question. If you were not the founder of Leap Club, Ragini, what would you be doing? And immediately, Ranveer, over to you.
I think I would still be at Zomato if Leap wouldn't have happened. But zero regrets, best decision of my life.
Okay, this is me. I got I'm probably something in film, but I don't know what. Maybe direction, acting, I don't know. But film is something that's inspired me. And the beautiful thing about doing content is that I'll get to do it eventually anyway. So anything that I say I will do, is going to happen in the future.
Ranveer, say it, admit it. You just want to run across mustard fields and sing songs and be an actor. Come on.
No.
Come on.
And keep thinking.
See, I'll tell you what. The honest answer is that for all the businesses I'm doing, the fame always helps. And I associate fame with film. I've acted in one thing and I saw what that did for my fame. So anything that will increase the fame, again, it's very engineering based, it's mathematical, but I have no intentions of being a Shah Rukh Khan. I have intentions of being a new age Dhirubhai Ambani.
Wow. Big words there. That's fantastic. You're well on your way to doing that with the media empire you're building. Okay, here's a quick question for you, Ragini. Harsh is asking, because you have a co-founder from your previous organization who also was your boss, you mentioned, right? Anand was your boss and now co-founder. So how do you select your co-founder in a new venture?
So I think it has to be someone you 100% blindly also trust, right? I would 100% say don't start up alone. It's an extremely, extremely lonely journey. And I have a very solid co-founder and a very solid founding team that I blindly trust, by the way, but not to say it's not lonely for me, right? So I think one, to answer your question, 100% get one, but also don't rush into it, right? So it's not like you're going to put a post and then everyone's going to come and talk to you about it. And then you immediately select a co-founder. So it has to be someone you enjoy working with, who has complementary skill sets. You all know who takes care of what, and you always have each other's back, right? I think that is very, very important. You're going to have hundreds and thousands of disagreements. I think every Monday morning we have one. But I think at the end of the day, for us, Leap has to win. And knowing that both of us know that and we'll do everything to make that happen is what is important.
That's fantastic. Same question to you, Ranveer. You keep talking about Viraj, and it's amazing how you are his biggest cheerleader. It's really admirable and something quite rare. What would you say about selecting a co-founder for one's entrepreneurship business?
You definitely need to love the person. That person becomes your work wife. So that's the basis of it. But the practical answer is that have some kind of informal work experience with them and not as a co-founder. Either you work under them, you work with them, they work under you. You have some kind of work equation with them, because when you work with someone, it exposes extremely deep parts of their character, sometimes even deeper than friendship, deeper than family in some cases. So you've got to play football with them. You've got to spend a lot of time with them, spend nights with them. And that's when you understand, okay, once you've understood this person entirely, that person can or cannot be your co-founder. And the obvious answer is, okay, you need to look for someone who balances your strengths and all that. You'll need to know that you'll work together as a team. The business ideas, even the capital, the team will come to you, but the co-founder you've got to go out looking for.
That's fantastic. I like how much emphasis openly there's been given to EQ, because all of this amounts to EQ, right? Because most professional conversations would just say, look at the biodata of this person, which is all a depiction or manifestation of a person's IQ. But both of you are clearly saying that EQ is as important, or probably even more important. Two short last questions, and then we'll draw this very, very insightful chat to a close, as much as I would love to keep chatting with both of you. But number one, and this is actually a question that Drishti asks, so I'm just going to flash the question right here. What skills do you look for when hiring a fresher or a youngster? Quickly, if you could shed light on that. Ranveer first, and then Ragini.
I look for the ability to learn and the ability to take feedback. So I ensure that in my first month of working with someone, I'm extremely tough with them. And I see how they respond to feedback. That's more important than anything.
Fantastic. Ragini?
I'm 100% the same, right? I think infectious energy, the amount they're willing to work hard, and the ability to take feedback. And it's something I actually even test during my interview process, right? There's always going to be feedback that's given. And the way she or he responds to it is what's very, very important for me. And yeah, I think they need to really, really believe in what you're building, because at the end of the day, they're going to represent your brand, right? And this is as true to, say, a Bain to a small startup like ours.
Got it. Lovely. And the last question, and I'm loving कि देवनागरी में जनाब ने लिखा है, चंद्रनाथ त्रिवेदी जी कह रहे हैं, क्या भारत में आज भी सामाजिक तौर पर नौकरी को स्टार्टअप्स की अपेक्षा अधिक मान्यता प्राप्त है? For non-Hindi speakers, the gentleman's question is, do corporates still enjoy a lot more social reputation than if youth was to work with startups? Ranveer, your quick response to that?
Post-COVID, no. I feel that they're at the same level because people have just woken up to the new world. It's accelerated culture by 5 years. Pre-COVID, I would probably say, yeah, there's still some time to go.
Ragini?
Startup girl, 100%. I think nothing can teach you as much as a startup can. I think getting your hands dirty is very, very important. Understanding small budgets is very, very important. Learning to work like a sports team is very, very important for me. So hopefully we have a lot more people giving startups a try. And of course, corporates have their own charm. But startup girl, 100%.
That's outstanding. Thank you so much, Ragini. Thank you so much, Ranveer, for taking precious time out of your super packed Mondays. Ranveer, this was pretty much your first morning meeting, right? Considering you wake up just around midday. So thank you for making the time for that. And Ragini, I know there's a lot going on with leap.club, product updates, this and that, innovation. So thanks for making the time. And huge congratulations to both of you for making it to the list of top voices next gen.
Thank you, Ankit. And thank you, everyone, for joining. Please feel free to connect with me. Always happy to help.
Yeah, great being here, guys. Great meeting you too as well.
Keep up the great work, and we look forward to all the amazing content and business updates that you keep coming up with. For everyone who's joined in, Ranveer and Ragini are 2 out of the 20 outstanding creators that we've listed on LinkedIn Top Voices 2021 Next Gen. A brand new list that we're debuting for the first time. So go ahead and read the entire article. You can catch up on all 20 of them and follow each and every one of them. I'm sure you will be completely motivated and inspired, irrespective of what sector you're working in, irrespective of where you are in the country. This has been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for joining. And stay tuned to LinkedIn News for the latest in the world of professional news. Have a great day.